I'm extremely pleased with the decision of the Supreme Court and applaud the justices for undoing the irreparable harm done both to women and over 60 million unborn babies over the past 50 years. But let's get to the question of personhood. I believe a lot of the battle, the issue comes down to this question here. Am I correct in assuming that our witnesses, with the exception of Ms. Hawley, would more or less say that it is your belief that babies do not have certain rights, unborn babies do not have certain rights, such as the right to life? Is that generally accepted? You believe unborn babies do have the right to life?
What I believe is that viability is different for every pregnancy. No two pregnancies are the same, and so you can't just say across the board at what point any pregnancy would be viable. Okay, well, the question is, I didn't ask about viability, it's about personhood. Let me ask Ms. Hawley, at what point does a baby become a person? That is the question here.
Sorry about that. I believe that life begins at conception, and scientific fact establishes that. We're no longer living in 1973. If you look at an ultrasound from that time period, you really can't see a whole lot. If you look at an ultrasound today, take 15 weeks, which is well before viability, the point in time when the Mississippi's Gestational Age Act applied, you can clearly see your baby move and stretch. She can hiccup. She can quite likely feel pain. There's no question that that baby is both fully alive and fully human.
Is there any instance of a woman giving birth to something that is not a human being, a baby, like, I don't know, a turtle, or as our First Lady suggested, a breakfast taco? I mean, is there any instance where other than a human being has been born?
Well, there definitely are instances where people have stillborn.
It's still a baby.
I guess the point is,
it's still a person, is it not?
If I can finish, I actually think that Representative Shannon's point about viability goes to exactly what you were naming. When the court
I'm talking about personhood, not viability.
Line, it did so because the consideration was whether or not the fetus can live outside of the body.
There are many people who cannot live without insulin. Does that mean we should kill those people who cannot live without insulin?
Well, there's no way for them to live.
Listen, this is my time.
I thought you were asking us, so I was wanting to have an opportunity to explain. So it's not a question of turtles, or I'm not really sure. What it is a question of...
It's a question of personhood. That's what I'm getting to. And there's not an instance that I'm aware of anyone giving birth to something other than a person. So if it is a person after birth, it by extension is a person before birth.
I really hope people are watching today, because the question on the table is about abortion for sure, but actually the conversation you're having is about contraception, it's about in vitro fertilization, is about a whole larger set of questions.
No, you mischaracterize. I'm having a clear discussion about abortion and the fact that it is a person. It is a person that we're dealing with, and that person after birth clearly is a person, and therefore by extension before birth is also a person. And the question comes down to, when does a person have the right to life? And when does a person have the right to health care? And we can argue all day that abortion is health care. It certainly is not health care to the baby. Health care protects life. And abortion, by definition, destroys life. It is not health care. But if we're talking about a person, which we are, we're not talking a taco. We're talking a person in the womb.
We're talking a fetus, which is the medical
Let me ask you, let me go back, Ms. Hawley. You brought up this issue of health care. Let's talk about health care